Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Chtib Zhang Show, episode 43. In today's episode, Eric, we will be talking UFC all day, or all episode UFC 267, talking a little about the UFC Vegas, Marvin Vettori, Paulo Costa. And we'll give our thoughts on the main card event, predictions, who we think is going to win, and all that good stuff. But as always, before we get into the episode, it's brought to you by Hot Streak Fantasy, the best in-play fantasy app on the market. Pick 2 to 3 players in the MLB and the NFL while you're watching your favorite teams and watch them make you some money. Hot Streak is matching your initial deposit as a bonus when you use promo code Hot Sauce. So get Hot Streak Fantasy app now. Every week we'll say, and I'll keep on saying it, easy way to make money if you love sports betting. But as always, Eric, before we jump into the episode, roll it. Welcome back to the Chtib Zhang Show, episode 43. This episode, Eric, UFC 267 is on the horizon. It will be this Saturday. Main event, the last name I just learned, thank you very much, Blachowicz, I had to get the pronunciation, Blachowicz, versus Glover Teixeira, sorry. That will be the main event. But let's not get to that right away. Let's go down the main card event, starting from the bottom fight up to the main event. But before we get into that, Eric, number one, recap. The jersey stays on. The LSU Jamar Chase jersey stays on.
Holy fuck.
Might be deja vu because last week I was wearing it. Yeah, it's not a coincidence. The Bengals are coup day. They just keep on winning. Destroying Baltimore 41, whatever. I don't know if they scored 15 or something. Or I don't know. Blowout. Thank you very much. Montreal Canadiens, Eric. They get their first win of the season. When in doubt, you need a win. You play the Detroit Red Wings. Who would have thought? 5-1. Matthew Perreault hat trick. Thank you, Detroit. Or 6-1. Yeah. So I just need to rub it in there a little. 6-1. Habs 1-5. Get the first one in against your team, Eric. Feels good. It's just a great day to be a sports fan for me.
Let's just say 3-2-1. That's our record. Whatever, we lose against Montreal. You know why? We didn't bring Tyler Bertuzzi across the border. So
yeah,
if we had Tyler Bertuzzi, we're gonna win. And all I'm saying is, the next game we bounced back against Chicago, beat them. I think 6-1. I think it was 6
against the Chicago Blackhawks.
We beat them 6-4. And we beat them 6-4 against Chicago. So now we're 3-2-1. Lucas Raymond got a hat trick. You know that first line is buzzing.
But couldn't beat 0-5 Montreal.
Well, we don't have our best player, Tyler Bertuzzi. So
yeah, well, sucks. We don't have a lot of players either. Still manage. It's okay. That's it's UFC, Eric, today. Come on, have some goddamn decency. All right, UFC 267, Eric. Main card event starting from the bottom. Welterweight matchup between the Leech. Li Jing Liang versus Khamzat Chimaev Boz. Khamzat Boz Chimaev. Eric. This is, like I said, welterweight battle. Khamzat Chimaev, he plays kind of lower, middleweight, welterweight. Yeah. Now he is squaring off against the Leech. Who do you like in this fight? Who do you think has the advantage?
Okay, well, this one's a very tricky one for me because both these fighters I absolutely love, right? So on one side, you have the Leech. It's pretty obvious why I maybe have a little bias for him, right? Like we like, that's my guy. We're both from China, right? There you go. And he's actually a really good fighter. So like in terms of fighting in the welterweight, like he's up there. He's one of the best strikers. Obviously, I think he's ranked 11th or 12th. So that's a step up in competition for Khamzat. Yeah. And on the other hand, you have Khamzat, who I absolutely love. I fell in love with him a year ago. So literally in a span, I think it was like 7-8 days, he fought twice and literally destroyed both his competition, took them down. I think he only got punched once and he outlanded them like 100. It was something ridiculous like that. Just took them down, beat them up. Obviously that was his first 2 fights in the UFC. And then he goes on to fight Gerald Meerschaert, who's actually a very like he's a vet in the UFC. Like people know him. He's fought a lot and like he's a decent fighter. And it was going to be a step up in competition. And literally in 17 seconds, KOs him with one punch. And then he was supposed to fight Leon Edwards next, early 2021. And Khamzat got COVID. a bunch of things happened, and then Leon just moved on, started fighting out. Like like
Yeah.
Hamzat was literally like I don't think he was ranked at this point. And Leon was already third in the welterweight division, and he was able to. The fact that matchup, and the thing with what's crazy was Hamzat was a favorite in that fight too,
Yeah.
which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
So now he's coming in this fight against the Leech, and obviously I think he's gonna be a favorite for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Hazmat is a very dangerous fighter. You know, kind of puts you in that that not that tier same wrestling as Khabib or Makhachev,
Very
whatever.
similar, yeah, very similar.
But he is, in fact, a great wrestler. He's always going to be a nightmare for opponents, right? Because you said he has 3 knockouts, so we know that the ground game is kind of his work, but he can still throw a punch when needed. He's got that crazy ground and pound, and he's a submission like he's dangerous on the ground, right? You don't want to be caught in one of those dangerous submissions, or your fight is done. I'm going to take Chimaev here. I think Li Jinglan, the Leech, is going to be a very tough matchup because of that strong striking ability, and he's one of the better strikers in the welterweight division. But if this gets to the ground, I don't see how Hazmat doesn't win this. So I would say I don't think might go to. I wouldn't say goes to the distance. I would say because he's Eric. Also, look at these whopping odds. This guy's coming in as a favorite at -700.
Wait,
-700. That's
that much?
That is, yeah, it's that much. That's how much confidence people have in Hazmat, for good reason. But I don't know. Maybe a submission to end it. I don't know. It could be headed that way if he tries to get it to the ground early. But we both have Hazmat for good reason. If he ends up losing, that would be an upset in my.
But how? But -700, because don't forget Hamza's. I don't in the welterweight. I don't think he's ranked right now. Then you have Lee that's like 11th. But obviously everyone knows Hamza's probably.
Oh no! Sorry. I'm mixing it up. Not Hazmat. Nope. I was making him up with Makhachev. Their names.
Oh.
No, it's not him.
But Hamzat is probably still a heavy favorite though too. But the thing with Hamzat is his wrestling's there. Lee, I watched a bunch of his fights. His striking, man, like he's super, like he reads you. He doesn't have that good of defense, but the way he moves, like he can strike. He knocked out his last opponent, Santiago. I think his name is Ponzinbio, who actually a vet in the UFC, was a very good UFC fighter. So on feet, I think is Hamza probably still has an advantage. I watched Hamza for a while before he even came in the UFC. He's a very good striker. Obviously, his ground and pound, he can pick up anyone. His wrestling is top tier. But because at first I was like, oh, Hamza can't straight, and then he goes up against Joe Mershar and knocks him out in 17 seconds, and then proves everyone wrong. You know? So I don't know. I'm excited because I've been following Hamza literally since he joined the UFC, and hey, he's a superstar in the UFC. He's one of the most followed UFC fighters. Yeah.
Yep. For sure. Moving on, we got a heavyweight battle between Alexander Drago Volkov versus Marcin Tybure. Marcin Tybure, Eric, both great heavyweight fighters. Have fighting in the heavyweight division. I think it's ranked 5 versus rank 8. So good chance for Marcin Tybure. A good opportunity for him to move up the rankings versus Volkov. What do you got?
This one's a very tricky one actually, because look, on one hand you have Volkov. Dude is 6'7", super tall, and hey, he has experience. He messed up Alistair Overeem. Like he's fought a lot of good fighters, and he's a vet. He's a vet in the UFC. But on the other hand, you have Marcin Tybure, who's obviously a wrestler, right? Is that
one of his? I think he's definitely got a wrestling aspect to his game for sure.
And the thing is, if you're 6'7", the legs they're not the best, and that was proven against Curtis Blades. So Curtis Blades fought Volkov and completely destroyed him. 14 takedowns, like completely destroyed him. So hey, that I think that's why this matchup happened, because you have 5th rank against 8th rank. But on the one hand, you have Tybure, who can wrestle, and Volkov, who's a very, very elite striker. Like he basically beat Derek Lewis. Obviously, we know Derek Lewis knocked him out with 10 seconds left, but he was controlling the whole fight. Like Volkov is a dangerous fighter, and he's definitely in that top tier. And if he can get a win over Tybure, like he's because right now I see Volkov in like around the same class as like him and Curtis Blades are
Curtis
around the same
Blades.
class.
Yeah,
So if he can get a win over Tybure, like that's definitely gonna cement him in that top five for sure. Like
for sure. Oh, we know Curtis Blades after his win over Struck. Rosenstruck, that name always bugs me.
yeah.
He has well, now he's going to be looking to fight either the winner of Francis and Sorrell, or who
Mm-hmm.
knows what's going on with Stipe right now and when's he going to fight. But I wouldn't say Derek Lewis again, even though he's lost to maybe a potential rematch. But yeah, Volkov,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, this win could help him a lot moving forward and getting a big fight. Yeah, I like Volkov a lot. I think I take him two in this fight. Like you
Because
said,
if
he's
you
a
look at
crazy reach, and he's a
exactly,
good striker.
and if you look at the stats, his last fight was against Cyril Gahn, right?
Mhm.
So I remember watching that. It was in June. Volkov landed 115 punches, and Cyril Gahn landed 135, and Cyril Gahn won by unanimous decision. So that's good numbers. If you look at the numbers straight up, like those are good numbers. So if he can strike the whole, like he's a very good striker, and you could see like Cyril Gahn on the other hand too is a great striker, right?
Well, one of the most technical, if not the most technical
Exactly.
heavyweight in the division. So
So the fact that
obviously
he was able
Volkov's
to
right up
land 100 something punches on Cyril Gahn,
there.
and on the Cyril Gahn landed like
Yeah,
135, like that's that's pretty fair to him, and shows that like he's definitely up there in the heavyweight division.
yeah, for sure. Looking to keep moving up the ranks as we move on to a lightweight division matchup. Islam Makhachev, your guy, versus Dan
Yeah,
Hooker, who's also apparently your guy.
yeah.
So Eric, two lightweights, number 5, number 6, going head to head. Who do you like?
Okay, I'm not like this
It's
one
a
hurts
tough
to
one,
watch
eh?
it
It's a bit
because
tough.
okay, I love Dan Hooker. I love like everything that like the way he fights. He always takes a tough fight, and he'll fight whoever. And the way he fights, the striking, everything, like he always puts on a show every single time. I remember watching during lockdown. It was him against Dustin Poirier. That was an amazing fight. Obviously, it was tough when he lost to Michael Chandler, but Michael Chandler is he's definitely up there in the lightweight division too.
Yeah.
So whatever, like can shake that one off. But like Dan Hooker, he's been the likes of like what's his name? Gilbert Burns, who's
Mhm.
when he was in lightweight. Like Dan Hooker has a resume that he's beat like in terms of striking, he's up there, and then now he's got to fight someone like Islam, who obviously everyone's saying Khabib 2.0, but it's been like Islam's been elite. No one wants to fight Islam, and the fact that Dan Hooker, he fought what like 3 weeks ago,
Yeah.
and he's jumping in right away already to fight. You gotta respect that 100%. Most likely he will end up losing, but I don't think that's gonna affect his trajectory too much. It shouldn't affect because he's taking a risk against Islam. I know Islam's ranked fifth, which is like people say is like way too high because he's never beaten a top 13 guy, right?
Yeah.
But no one wants to fight Islam. So what the UFC was like, okay, no one wants to fight him. I'm gonna keep putting him, like if he wins, I'll keep putting him up, like give you some incentive to fight him.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Islam is so dangerous. Like this guy, he can take down anyone, the ground and pound, everything, and
Submission.
he yeah, submission. He's a better grappler. No, not grappler. He's a better striker than Khabib. So that's why people find it so interesting to see what his trajectory is
Yeah,
going
I
to be.
will say this in Dan Hooker's defense. Dan Hooker, very good striker in this
Very,
division.
yeah,
We always know that. And going into this fight, he has a 5-inch reach on Islam Makhachev. Look, take that stat as you want it.
hmm
But if he's able to create separate, and Dan Hooker also has great takedown defense. So you put that reach into account with that takedown defense, and he's got that good striking. Maybe he tries to, will he be able to stay up? Who knows? Because you know that Makhachev's wrestling is that good to get him down. Who knows if he's able to maintain that takedown defense and he could
yeah,
keep the fight on the feet. That's the only way I see him winning. If he had his
exactly.
takedown defense has to be on point that fight or he loses, 100%.
He's a, and the thing is, there's I I'd say there's maybe not even a 1% chance he wins by decision. Like there, I can't really see Dan Hooker winning by decision because realistically, you can try and like defend all the takedowns you want from Islam, but this is a five. Is it a 5-round fight?
I'm not sure.
Wait,
Probably not. It's a main card event though, no?
actually, it might just be three, but what three or five? Um, but I don't know. It's just I don't see when I don't see like even if it's a three, like Islam
Yeah,
the
we'll
number
try to
of
get to the
takedown.
ground no matter what.
Exactly, he's gonna get to the ground. He will get to the ground. Like there's no way like he is
Mhm.
not getting taken down. Like he will get taken down, especially Dan Hooker. He obviously he looks tall for a lightweight too, right? He has a reach, but like you can't stop Islam from taking you down. And the only way I see him winning is by knockout or TKO, right? So that's the only way I see Dan Hooker winning this fight. Because
I
everything
think they're
else,
expected to fight three rounds.
okay, so that definitely makes it more
And
interesting for.
Dan Hooker wants five. He said I
Uh,
wanted five, and then
okay, yes,
Makhachev on
yes, okay,
Twitter responded, "It's gonna be worse for you if we go five."
yeah, exactly.
So that's why.
I remember seeing that. Okay, I just saw it, but yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah, why I don't understand why Dan Hooker will want five because maybe because Dan Hooker's cardio
Yeah,
is very good. So maybe if he has five, he has a better chance to knock him out in the later rounds. But that just gives more time for Islam to dominate, right?
yeah.
So I don't know.
I think
I'm
Islam's a runaway.
exactly.
Islam is at a minus 700 into this fight versus Dan
Exactly.
Hooker
I'm so excited to see
plus
Islam fight. Like
450. Yeah.
I love watching him fight. It's already his third time fighting this year because I remember he took a 2 year layoff after his last one. Like I've been loving Islam, and I just want to keep watching him fight. And I'm excited to see him fight Dan Hooker, who's a very good test for him.
No, for sure. Islam's gonna be making his way up the
Oh
ranks. Who
yeah, because
knows
if
what
you
this Dan Hooker fight's gonna. I think, like you said, Dana White's just gonna keep putting him higher to get that
exactly,
incentive to get these guys to fight him because nobody wants
yeah,
to fight him. So,
exactly,
yeah, Islam just got to keep winning fights basically, and he'll
exactly.
get that title shot eventually, no
Mm.
doubt. Moving on, Eric Petr Yan. This is a bantamweight
Yes.
interim belt. Petr Yan versus Corey Sandhagen. Eric, this was supposed to be Aljamain Sterling versus Petr Yan, but he had to back out because of neck injury, whatever. And now Corey Sandhagen has replaced him, and he thinks rightfully he is fighting the bantamweight champ, and he
He
should feel
is.
that way.
Yes. I do look like Sterling. I used to like him. He's been doing too much. Like obviously at first I was like, oh, it is a disqualification, whatever. Like
Yeah.
but he's just been doing too much. He's been like he's been he's starting to become the villain, right? He's starting to take on that role. So and he's not fighting, and he keeps
No.
talking trash to Peter Yan, but
Yeah.
Peter Yan was winning. Peter Yan was destroying Aljamain Sterling, taking him like he was in getting taken like Peter Yan was destroying him, and then obviously gets that disqualification because
Yeah.
of that illegal knee. But technically, like in terms of like fighting, if you're not talking about UFC, like Peter Yan is a better fighter and he is a real champ. Like no one sees Aljamain Sterling as a real. Everyone knows that if Yan fights Aljamain Sterling, Yan is destroying him. So it is normal for Corey to see this as like the title, right? The real title,
Mhm.
because realistically, like Sterling, whatever. But hey, Corey Sandhagen, it's kind of sad, but he did lose to Aljamain Sterling before.
Yeah.
He got submitted by Aljo. So this fight's gonna be interesting for sure because
And he's
Sandhagen
coming
is
off
coming off a loss.
close. Yeah, he's coming off a very close loss
It
versus
was a split
TJ
decision against
Dillashaw,
TJ. Yeah,
where a lot of the media pages, 17 out of like
exactly.
21 of them, I think, had him winning that fight.
Yeah,
So this could be Peter Young's. I don't know, but could be his tough opponent for him because Corey Sandhagen,
exactly.
he's got the speed, he's got the
Yeah,
reach. Eric, let me throw a stat for you. He's got 6.32 significant strikes per minute, so he's going to come out the gate firing.
yeah,
And Petr Young, we know, doesn't like. He starts the first round. He analyzes his opponent. Doesn't really throw many strikes.
yeah,
Starts off
yeah.
pretty slow. So and he's got that high guard defense too. So he leaves his body open a lot. So if I don't know, Corey
That's fair.
Sandhagen starts out, if he comes out throwing strikes, yeah, maybe he wins the first two. Maybe he wins some early rounds, body strikes, whatever.
Yeah,
But in the end, I think Yan is gonna analyze opponent, accurate strikes.
yeah.
He's got great stamina. So and he's got the wrestling aspect too. So I would take
Exactly.
but don't count out Corey Sandhagen. This is gonna be a good fight. Good fight, Eric.
Exactly. Because realistically, I don't see this fight going to the ground at all. They're striking like
Yeah.
they're just gonna try and strike the entire time. But Sandhagen is dangerous at any time. This guy can number of times this guy's had a highlight reel like knockout. This guy just needs someone in the face, knocked him out. A spinning back heel, knock someone out. Like you don't know what this guy can throw at you. He has a cardio. Obviously, his last fight against TJ Dillashaw. It's hard to analyze that fight because what do you value more? Like, let's say, like how much
blood? The blood on TJ's face made it look bad.
Exactly. But because Corey Sandhagen's punches, people know like it did way more damage than what TJ did. Like, do you value the damage that the punch does, or like does ground time? Like, obviously, TJ Dillashaw was getting ground time, but like he's not really getting. Corey's not really getting hit, but like he's getting like ground time. But it's like it's tough to analyze.
I think that fight was because his back was exposed a lot. When he was getting out, he was like showing his back a lot, and that's what happened. And I think that goes into judge scoring and stuff. And he had like 8 minutes or something on the ground time compared to Sandhagen's 0. But still, like, I don't know. He had way more significant strikes to the head, body.
Way more. So it's like realistically, if this was a street fight, Sandhagen, because you just messed up TJ Dillashaw. So because the reason TJ Dillashaw didn't get this fight was because I think he's injured right now, but people don't really see Corey Sandhagen like you can see it as a loss, but it's not really like it's not really a loss. You know, it's like obviously it says a lot, but that's why this fight is so interesting because both these guys are coming off like technically like losses, but like not really. You know what I mean? Like losses, but like they should have.
Yeah, they got something to prove for sure. These two guys
exactly. They have something to prove, and the striking, like so much can happen just because Corey Sandhagen is so unpredictable and Pure Line is so like stable, like. He's literally a robot. Like he's a pure killer. So it's going to be a very interesting fight.
Yeah, that will be a great fight. Very excited. But let's get to the main event of the evening. Jan Blachowicz versus Glover Teixeira. Eric, this is the light heavyweight championship belt on the line. 28-8 versus 31-7. Obviously, 3 years apart. Glover's 41. So Jan is 38, if my math is correct. So who do you like in this fight? And who are you taking to win?
Oh, I'm telling you, this one is way closer than people actually think it is. I saw a lot of people have Jan Blachowicz winning, but I'm not going to make a prediction right now. I'll keep analyzing while we're discussing, and then I'll come up with a prediction.
All right, fair enough. But keep analyzing.
Yeah, exactly. But this is how you see it, because Glover Teixeira, he's on a 5-fight win streak right now. So he just beat Thiago Santos. Yeah. But Jan too, right? Yeah. But Glover Teixeira is the consistently in the UFC. This guy has been so consistent. Obviously, his last title shot was like in 2013 against obviously Jon Jones, who's one of the greatest like UFC fighters of all time. So now he's getting a second chance, and he deserves it. Like this guy like finishes people. He has the most finishes in light heavyweight history. He finishes people, and obviously, if you look at him, if I saw Glover Teixeira, like this guy does not look like he's 41. Like he's bald. Like he looks like he's like 50, 60. So like doesn't. But this guy can literally beat up like 99% of the population on this planet. You know, so it's like, so it's crazy to see. But Glover Teixeira on the ground, he's really good on the ground. His striking, I watched Embedded vlog. He just got a new he got a new striker ever since the Jon Jones fight, and he's been his striking has gone so good. So I think this one's probably gonna stay on the ground, not on the ground, on the feet.
Yeah,
it might go. It might be a couple of takedowns, but I don't think it's because Jan's like obviously Jan against Israel took Israel down a lot because Jan was like 15 pounds heavier. But obviously, Glover Teixeira is a strong guy too. So I don't, and he's very good. Glover Teixeira is very dangerous on the ground. He submitted Thiago Santos. Like that's how he finishes people. So you don't really want to go to the ground. And Glover, if you look at Glover Teixeira, he doesn't really have a weakness. Just the only weakness probably like he's in his 40s. But
I would say this about his weak. I would say he takes shots too much, and against Jan, that's going to be a problem in the striking game.
Oh yeah, especially And yeah, Yan is obviously he has his Polish power,
because Yan
so
is such a
he's
smart
very dangerous.
fighter.
Oh, very.
Like he doesn't go out
Um,
there to knock you out or whatever. Like he's there to earn points. Like he'll fight strategically and earn points or
yeah,
whatever, right? So, but you were
yeah,
gonna say
and exactly
something.
that's no, but no, because in his last few fights, other than Israel, like he's finished his opponents, and
Yeah,
he showed like when he punches, like you hear that sting, like he punches so strong. But obviously, yeah, like if he has to win by decision, he'll win by decision. He showed that against the Israel fight, like that. He's smart. He fought a smart fight because he's a champ, so he doesn't have to know. Israel should try and win. Like he, as a champ, you don't have to like bring the fight. You know, it's like they bring the fight, and then
yeah,
you just fight. You know, so like if they don't want to fight, like you don't have to do like you know if you're a challenger, that's where you have to bring your A. Like
your
so,
A game, yeah.
Jan fought a smart fight against Dominic Reyes, who's a really good fighter, knocked him out clean. So hey, Jan's proven and they're both great guys too. Obviously, in terms of marketability, it's not a big, it's not an easy fight to market, right? It's
No,
and that's why they have it on ESPN Plus, I think, for free. Or like you just have to get a subscription to ESPN Plus. You don't really have to buy it. You can buy from by pay-per-view too, but you can get it on ESPN Plus. That's why, because it's like Yan and Teixeira, it's not like the biggest names, right? So,
no,
but
they're
it's
just they're
if
they're,
you're a
they're
real
keeping that for next week.
exactly, but if you're a real fight fan, like if you love MMA, like you will like this fight because that's a very good matchup. Um, they're not like the press conference, all that. It's not gonna be crazy. Just two really good fighters going at it. Obviously in the back, like they're not in their prime, but like it's a very technical fight. It's gonna be a very good fight, and it's gonna be very interesting to watch for sure.
No, yeah. I just think if it stays on the ground or stays on the feet, Yan's gonna win. Yan will take it. I think he's just more the technical fighter, and like you said, the challenger and the champ and Glover's
Mm-hmm.
gonna have to kind of earn these points, and like he's gonna have
Mm-hmm.
to chase a little. And I think Yan is he's gonna be the smart fighter. He's just gonna get easy points, rack up his points, and it might go decision,
Exactly.
probably maybe. I think it might, or someone's getting knocked the fuck out. It's that simple.
That's fair.
So it's either
Like
be a
if you like
TKO,
people,
KO, or I think it might go decision though.
yeah, it probably will. But if you look at it, like Anthony Smith, we see he's a very elite fighter, right? Glover Teixeira outstruck him 138 to 86, and he KO'd him. So Anthony Smith, this was what 2020,
I know. I'm
May
thinking
May
now.
20.
You got me thinking. I don't think it's
So
gonna go
like Anthony
decision.
Smith's a very good fighter. Thiago Santos, we've talked about these fighters. Like those are very elite fighters, and
I
Glover
think Yan
Teixeira, I
might
think,
knock him
was the
out.
underdog.
I think Yan might
Hey,
knock him
that's
out.
hey, that's fair to say because I don't know Yan. Because Yan, don't forget, Yan also like he has a similar story to go over. Like they had a rough patch. Like
Rough beginning
Yan
to the
started
career.
yeah, Yan started picking it up after in his last one.
Well, he has 5 fights in a
He's
row.
won nine of his last 10 fights,
Yeah,
and
kind
his
of
only
crazy.
loss is to Thiago Santos,
Crazy how the
which is
UFC
like,
works sometimes.
and yeah, it's crazy how it works for. But oh my god, the people Yan's beating Israel Adesanya, Dominic Reyes, Corey Anderson,
Yeah,
Souza, Luke Rockhold. Like, these are big names. Jared Cannonier. Like
yeah.
these are good fighters that he's beating. So hey,
I think I
this is
might
gonna be such a good.
be. I'm gonna go Yan knockout third round. I'm just gonna throw it out there.
Okay.
Yan third round knockout.
Hey, that
Yeah. Knockout or TKO something. Someone's gonna end in the third
that's
round.
fair.
She ain't going to the fourth. That's my prediction. Do we want to talk a little Paula Enrique Costa versus
Yeah.
Marvin Vittori?
Yeah.
Vittori. But yeah, Marvin Vittori, Paulo Costa, Eric, the guy who introduced the UFC to you, Paulo
I
Costa.
know.
I wouldn't say your boy anymore, but
I know.
your beginning. He was your
Exactly.
beginning into the UFC. Introduced you.
Mhm.
They had a little Vegas primetime fight there. Just the two of them as a main event. Paulo Costa ends up losing, big point deduction with poking Marvin in the eye. Marvin comes out with the win by decision. Fuck, Eric, Marvin took a lot of shots that fight.
Oh
How
my
the
god.
heck
Yes.
did he win that? I mean, he deservedly did win that because he
Yeah.
ate those shots like it was nothing, like it was breakfast.
hmm So and this fight, I want to watch it, and then like there's something like the time, so I just ended up watching the highlights and like the whole fight. But because I really wanted to watch this fight live, right? Because
Yeah.
it was such a good fight, and obviously the story leading up to this, as we were talking about, like Marvin was eating shots, but because Paulo Costa coming to this fight, he came in at I think he was 220.
Guys just didn't even care.
Like 3 days. Yeah, he
He
didn't
was
care.
not going to
So
try and make
obviously,
weight.
so he lost 30% of his money and had to give it to Marvin Vettori, and they ended up fighting at 205. And Paulo Costa still came into the fight at 220 something. And Marvin Vettori is a big guy too. I think he came in the fight like 208. So
Yeah.
still a big dude. He's a very big guy for middleweight, but imagine having to cut down from 220 to 185, and the fact that Paulo Costa was just lazy, like very unprofessional. But
Yeah.
I do understand. But this fight, hey, I knew this. I knew this fight was going to be such a good fight. Obviously, Paulo Costa introduced me. He was the first fighter I saw when I saw him destroy Uriah Hall. I was hooked on the UFC. I was like, oh my, this guy's a beast. 185. This guy looks huge. Like, how is he doing all this stuff? And then I'm not gonna lie, I have fallen out of love with Paulo Costa. But I don't really like the excuses he's been giving. Like he's not as badass as I thought he was.
Did you see the
So
meme where it's like, when Paulo poked Marvin in the eye and the ref's there,
yeah,
and he's going, no, 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 like
no,
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 no, no, and it's like, he was saying no, 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 and it's like Paulo's trainers when they tell him to lose weight, he's like, no, 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 no,
yeah, no, yeah, literally.
no, 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 no.
And but the eye poke, he did lose 1 point for that. So that's
Yep.
so most of the scorecard had it 48-46. So it's basically a 48-47 fight, right?
Yeah.
It's a unanimous decision, but 48-47, like this is one round difference. The significant strikes, it's 190 to 163 for Marvin Vettori. That's a lot of strikes for a fight. Like 190 to 160. That's like almost in the 200s. Like that's a lot of strikes. And when Paulo Costa hits Marvin Vettori, man, those hit hard, man.
Yeah,
Like when he kicks him, he just kept eating. I don't know how he did that. The only thing I think Paulo Costa should have done, I watched Israel Adesanya break this fight down too, was Paulo Costa, like the body shots definitely doing damage to Marvin Vettori, right? Because they hit hard.
Yeah.
He should have kicked the leg a bit too. The legs, the body, like obviously you kick a bunch of time will hurt. Legs, you kick that knee up, but bro, that knee will get fucked up so quick. You know, so I think you just have to like maybe like he was doing a good job though, but Marvin Vettori, he's just brought like I don't know, like his strikes. I don't think they did as much damage, but they're making contact, right? And you could tell what I found kind of crazy because I thought Marvin Vettori does have more cardio and more endurance, but Paulo Costa on the global scorecard, almost everyone has him winning that 5th round. So that just shows that Paulo Costa, he showed his endurance, and it was a good fight for Paulo Costa. I respect both fighters, so I'm very happy with the outcome of this fight, just because Marvin Vettori got the win that he deserved, because he didn't have to take this fight, right?
No,
because Paulo Costa didn't cut down. He didn't have to take this fight. He took it at 205. Didn't even go to the catch. Just took it at 205. He's like, whatever, I'll take this fight, and beat him up. And on the other side, Paulo Costa also got to prove himself as a really good fighter. I just think he should stop with some of the excuses.
What do you think of him moving up into the light heavyweight? You think that's a good move? I think so.
I think it's gonna be such a because
that light heavyweight sucks now. They got to spice it up.
Exactly. Like there's no big name realistically in the light. There's no big names. Paulo Costa is a big name. Like he has a big following too, and people love Paulo just because this guy looks like he's on roids half the time.
Yeah.
So people look at like, how the hell is this guy fighting at 185?
No.
Like Alexander Volkanovski was fighting at 185. How's Paulo Costa fighting at 185? Like, how does that make sense?
He belongs here.
Exactly. And the thing was, maybe at first in his career, like, okay, you can go down to 185, but now he's getting stronger and stronger and stronger. So like it's getting harder and harder to cut, right? And as he's getting older as well. And probably getting a little more lazy. And people are saying like, oh, he has too many yes men around him. I do believe that, like, how do you not tell your fighter just cut the weight? Like, obviously, I think the weight cut would not have helped Paulo Costa in the fight. He just had to take a 30% cut. It is kind of tough because he's only come out with like 77,000 for taking 190 significant strikes. But I don't know.
Well, he's ranked at number 8th right now. I don't know where he was in the.
Wow, he was 3rd before.
In the light heavyweight or middleweight?
No, so middleweight he was at 3rd.
Oh wow. Well, yeah, I
Or
mean, light heavyweight. Was he third?
yeah,
Derek Brunson.
first
Oh,
or
he was
third.
six.
He was
So now he's six. So they're keeping him because
yeah.
they keep fighting. So he was six. I don't know what he was before that because he lost to
He was
Marvin
third.
Vittori.
I think he was third or yeah,
But Derek
something
Brunson
like
have
that.
jumped him. Jared Cannonier have jumped him, but he'll never
Yeah.
be fighting in that division again. So,
But the thing is, I think Paulo Costa beats any of those. Like Marvin Vittori was one of the toughest. Like Paulo Costa he's a very good fighter. Like striker. Like obviously he's got those TRX, but he's such a good fighter. Every fight he's been in has been an amazing fight. So I'm not very disappointed in his performance, but I know if he goes up to a fight, that's gonna be very good
yeah, I
for
think
the
that's where he
UFC
belongs.
light heavyweight.
Yeah.
Exactly, and even at two, like he's gonna have to cut down at he's still got to cut down 20 pounds when he's gonna be like Jan Blachowicz is lighter than Paulo Costa, so
Yeah.
it's like it's really like the weight's not really gonna do a difference. So like I don't know,
We'll
it's gonna
see.
make that division so much more interesting because he does have star power and like that division. It's a good division with a bunch of good fighters, but it's just it's not marketable that much, you know.
No, not really. Considering this title fight's not that marketable compared to, let's say, next
Yeah,
week or the week before, or I mean,
exactly.
UFC 266. But that will be Saturday, so we will see the
Yeah,
outcome for next episode. But Eric, we won't have time to be talking about that next about the recap because next episode we are going to be talking about UFC 268. Kamaru
oh
Usman
my
versus Colby
god.
Covington, and that crazy, crazy card, one of the craziest cards,
Oh
maybe
my
the
god,
card
yeah.
of the year
Yeah.
of 2021. So that's going to be interesting. That will be episode 44. But as always, this has been the Chtib Zhang Show. Thank you for listening on Spotify or watching on YouTube and joining us. We'll be back for UFC 268 in the next episode, and we'll see you
Yeah.
guys later. Roll the outro.